There we go. All right, so today we're going to take it kind of easy and work on memorizing more chords using the blues scale in 3 different positions that will ultimately give you 3 different keys. And this one, it's a short and sweet song. I call it Sunday Slowdown because I want you guys to just chill out with this, relax. You'll probably come up with different ideas for yourself for writing songs. There's 2 sheets. There's the song, the 12-bar blues progression. I did change a couple of chords on it, and I notated it on what I'll be sharing with you guys, so it'll actually be a little bit simpler than what's written at the bottom, but we'll talk about the rhythm and everything. I do have another sheet that says Sunday Slowdown Notes, and that's the blues scale in 3 different positions. Now, while I'm introducing this, my students in the past have had a lot of fun playing around with it because it's fuel for improvising, and the melody's repetitive so that you can memorize it easily. So I'm going to introduce it to you guys in a couple of different ways. I don't want you to worry about the chords that are on the sheet right now, but I'm going to go through and play the whole shebang for you. Get myself all lined up. Oh, I'm in my creaky chair, sorry. Oh, it might have been my creaky spine, I don't know. Creaky, something creaky. I'm going to start just by playing the melody as written. And what I want you to notice when I'm playing is that where my ring finger is going to determine the name of the scale I'm on. So that's a C there, okay? So I'm going to be playing my C blues scale. Then I'm going to be changing position, and I'm going to be going up to my 8th fret, and that's going to be my F blues scale. Then I'm going to be going back down, always guiding with that ring finger. Okay, so this is going to help you learn these scales up and down using one string as a guide. So then you're on your C blues scale, and then you're going to be going up, connecting the dots up to your 10th fret for your G blues scale. And then, because the 12-bar blues progression hops quickly at the end from one chord to another, you're only going to be on that G blues scale for 4 beats, and in this song just 4 notes, and then down to I'm making sure I'm on the right fret, the F, and then you're going to go back down to the C blues scale. The last bar that looks a little bit funky, that's where there's a little turnaround. So I'm going to play this, and check it out on the sheet if you've got it there, or just watch my hands. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play it so you can watch my hands, play it again with the PDF shown, and then I'm going to talk about the chords as a separate thing. And then hopefully by the end of this hour, Sunday Slowdown, and you can play it however you want. All right, so I'm going to ignore the first 2 measures on that page. I'm just going to come in with the melody. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 8, but the same pattern. 8, 6, 8, 6, back down. 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, tap, tap, 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 6, 8. The rhythm on the end tends to get people. 1 and 2 and 3, 4, oh, 4, 3, boom, boom. Then you start it again. Now I'm going to share my screen so that you can see it this time. Had a dead stop there. I was like, share. Where's my screen to share? What's going on? There it is. All right. Woohoo! There we go. Now I have it set up so that I'm not even really worrying about those chords right at the beginning because they look busy. But we know from playing all that crazy G stuff that those chords, they're probably not actually that big of a deal, and they aren't. but just the melody. Just worried about that melody right now. So I'm going to come in and play it again. I'm going to play it a little bit slower if you want to play along. Something I want you to keep in mind though, before we get going, is that first fret there. If you put your index finger there and just hang on to it there, that's your anchor for moving around for the whole 4 bars, first 4 bars. So here, okay, and then on to the next line, keep your index finger down. And then guess what? It's the same thing up here for the next measure too. You just use your ring finger and your index finger. So I know I said the ring finger, and that 8th fret tells you that that's the F scale that you're in, but think about moving it with that index finger up on the 6th fret, and that will get you there, and that will make you feel confident with moving around on these scales. Okay, so I'll stop talking about that now. I'm just going to play it again. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, tap. Next line. 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Here we go. Up to your 8th fret. 8, 6, 8, 6, 8, 6, tap. Tap back down. 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. And then let's move up to the 10th fret. 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 6, 8, tap, tap. 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 0, 4, 3. The last line gets people because I put in some different rhythms there. I'm going to talk to you about that. And then we're going to play through this a bunch of times, see what we can do. I put in, oh, what happened there? I put in, okay, let's take a look at the top line there. I've got this right there where I'm trying to highlight it. I've got 2 beats that ring out, and that's where I just say like tap, tap. You know, that's beats 3, 4. I put that in also at the end of the 4-bar chunk where you're playing that C blues scale. Right there. So that you have time to change position. So I think when I gave it to my Thursday group before, I would actually just say move frets or 8th fret, change position. It gives you time. So I've set that up in there quite a bit. Now, so I made note of that. I've got these half notes, beats 3 and 4, to let you move with comfort. Kat, with your ukulele group, like I've given this to you guys with a purpose, and Shirley as well. Oh, and Barb, Dawn, you guys can all share this with your groups, with your folks that you want to talk about playing this sort of stuff with. Like, just do it. The ending. I want to talk about the ending because that's the part that might be a little bit weird at first. Okay, so this first fret note here, I put in brackets because it might sound kind of neat if you don't play on that beat, just to give it some rhythmic variation. Okay, so I'm going to come at it from the 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 6, 8. I'm going to play it a couple of different ways so you can hear it. The first way, I'm going to play it with that one that I've got in the brackets. And then I'm going to do it again without. Okay, so here we go. So just listen to the difference here. I've got 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 6, 8. Let's move. 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 0, 4, 3. Okay. And then again, and now I'm going to do a little rest there on the bracket. So I'm going to say the 1 in my mind, but I'm not going to play it. Here we go. 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 6, 8. Let's move. 1. So just by not playing that 1, if you take a little breath there, even like that rhythmic variation can add a little bit of like shazah at the end of this. And it gives you a chance to think about ways that you can also add that into improvising in other parts of the song. So you still have, on that measure, you've got beat number 4, where you just take a moment to gather your thoughts before you move on to the next measure. So if you were to count that, the way I've got it written right now with the brackets, okay, you would be playing, and I'll just move my little arrow marker thing along here. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so the 4, that's the tied one. If you're not playing that, you'd have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And it's just a little bit different. This part here, where you've got this note that's ringing out, I put a rest in there because after I took the James Hill class, I found how handy a rest is to have to just make sure everything's kind of clear, right? You do let that ring out, but I put the rest in there so that you're like, okay, I can see that that's beat number 2. So if you're counting this one out, following that little marker again, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. So it's 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Play that last measure right here, the 0, 4, 3. Just play it with me. Here we go. 0, 4, 3. Okay, let's do it again, and I'm going to count it this time. 1 and 2, and here we go. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Just like that. The chords move the same way. I changed the chords. I want them to echo what's up top because it's going to sound a little bit more harmonious at the end. Now, we're going to do a little bit of the chord memorization like we did with Crazy G. Just so you know, we are going to be going back to Crazy G, but I want to give you guys a break. I feel like Crazy G was super intense, and I want to make a little relaxation time here. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. Hola. Okay, you've got the movable G chord as one of the big fat flavors in here. Okay, so what I want you to do is play your G chord. Yeah, just play that thing. Sounds so fine. All right, move it up so that it's lined up on your 5th fret. Okay, here we go. I feel like I did something wrong there. 3, wait, 2. Oh, hang on. Oh. 4th fret. Oh no. Oh, okay, my numbers. Here we go. 4th fret. That's your A. Okay. Now you can strum all 4 strings if you want. Strum 3 strings. I like to strum in the 3 strings. If you strum 4 strings, it gives it an A7 sound. But I think just hit the 3 strings would be good. Okay, now take your hand off. Go back to your G. Okay. Hand off. Back to your A on your 4th fret. Slide back 1 fret so that you're lined up on that 3rd fret there. Makes an A flat. Okay, take your hand off. Make your G. Oh yeah. Take your hand off. Make your new A chord. A rhymes with 4. Right on. Okay, go from there to A flat. Oh yeah. Go back to G now. Now try this. You're up in that 4th fret for A, and I'm going to say A, and then when I flatten, I'm just going to say flat, okay? And then I'm going to say G. Try this. A flat, G. So A, hit that 4th fret. Yeah, okay. So in terms of fret numbers, we've got 4, 3, 2, for where your bunny ear fingers are. A flat, G. Those are the 3 notes that you play at the end that sound kind of nice and bluesy. That's it as a chord now. Now check this out. It's so much fun. I love that G-shaped chord, that movable chord. Love it. I love it so much. So that chord, that chord shape, you get so much out of it, you know? Okay, so take your hand away. Make your A. That new A. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Now make your G. Right on. Okay, now make your A flat. Yeah. Make sure that you can do that. Take your hand away and find them, because it's easy to get them mixed up when you're moving around. Oh, you saw me, right? I was like, oh, make your A. Oh, it was back in guitar land trying to find an A shape. Wrong fret. So make sure you do that. Take that hand away and then come back. All right. A lot of what I've got written down for this arrangement, for the open chords, you can use your index finger to hang on to things. Let me show you. There's your C7. Then you're just moving your index finger to that 2nd string to make your F7. Right? So there's your F. F7 adds that ring finger there. Okay. And then from there, you wind up going back to your C7. Then G7, and this is where it's nice, because you've got your G7, or that, again, like think about that pointer finger, G7 to F7. See that, where you can just hang on to it? When you're playing around with this song, index finger is your anchor for the scales, to find those scale positions, and to move comfortably, and it's also your anchor for moving around to these chords. Okay, so let's just walk through that a little bit. And you guys probably play these chords a lot anyway, but let's just march right through them. Okay, so C7. Yeah, just hang out there and play that C7 with me. Okay, now we're going to go to F7. So make your F chord, add that ring finger on that 3rd fret, string 3. I love the sound of 7th chords. Okay, let's go back to C7. C7. Yeah, right on. Okay, now let's go to that G7. So again, think about that index finger. Okay, here comes that F7. So I just make my F and then tuck in that 3rd fret, string 3. Okay, let's go to C7 now. And then we're going to do that new thing, the A flat G. Ready? Here we go. A flat G. You guys. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and I'm going to play that progression in a 12-bar blues, and all I'm going to do right now is down strums. I'm just going to play 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Nothing fancy. Just bop along like that, because if you do that, then you can get people to play that chord progression for you while you play this melody. And it's really easy for you to keep the beat, because they're just tick-tocking away like that. You can add more as you go, but we don't need to right now. If you want to play with me, go for it. What I want you to think about, though, is that, like, we've got the fancy bar at the end, and the fancy bars at the beginning that I haven't even talked about yet, but you guys will be fine. I'm just really worried about the main chord at that 12 bar progression. So we hit our one chord, which is our C7, right? And then we're going to go to, I'll count this as number one here. So C, D, E, F. F7's our 4 chord. And then G, in this case G7, is our 5 chord, right? So those are the 3 main chords we're going to use. The other ones that we add in, they're color chords to add more shazah to the song. Okay, on our 1 chord, the C7, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 more bars like this. 1 bar 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go to F7 next. 2. Here we go. F7. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 more measure, and then back to C7. Here we go. C7. 1 more bar of this, and then G7. G7. Quick change to F7. Here we go. F7. C7. Optional, fancy schmancy. And let's do it again, okay? So if you get the feeling of that chord progression going, then that's golden. Now, some folks have a really hard time doing this because it's, you know, it's different, right? And it pulls you out of that rhythm, but it's designed to turn around, right? Get it all going again. Often I just think of those words. Turn around, 3, 4, and then away you go, right? Da, 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 and away you go. You can start to add more rhythm there to fill it in. But if you're playing with a group and they're like, I can't do that, then substitute that, all of that, just for a G7. Okay, so then you'd have this sound. You come from your fancy part where you go G7, F7, so I'm going to do all that. G7, F7, C7 to G7 now, instead of all the fancy. Here, that pushes you back into doing the progression again. And maybe you do that. And then the very last time that you play that song, then maybe that's when. And that's the end. So you don't have to do the fancy stuff. That's what it amounts to. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the screen. And if you feel like going through the melody while I strum the chords, go for it. There we go. And we'll go back and forth, okay? So I'll strum the chords, and then maybe we'll flip and I'll do the melody and you guys can practice strumming the chords behind me. I'm not doing the intro chords yet, okay, because I don't want it to get too busy. Okay, so we'll start right where the melody comes in. I'll count to 4 and I'll hit the C7. And remember, I'm just tick-tocking away on the four beats. I'll try to call out the fret numbers that you're playing while I strum the chords, but we'll see how long I can do that before I fall down, okay? I'm gonna have a sip of coffee first, just so I'm revved up for this. All right. Here we go. You ready? On your, you're gonna be playing notes 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, and I'm just gonna hit the C7 chord. I'll count to 4. 1, 2, here we go. 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Next line. 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Change position. 8, 6. I'll slow down. 8, 6, 8, 6. There we go. Back down. 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Ready? 10, 10, 8, 10, change. 8, I did it way too fast. It's supposed to be Sunday Slowdown, not Sunday peel along the streets as fast as you can. Let's do it all over again. And I'll be slow. 2. There we go. That's better. 1, 2. And if you miss a chunk, don't worry about it. Like if the 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 6, 8 doesn't happen right away, just hit your 10. Watch this. So I'm coming at it from before. 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, da, da. 10. Whoa, oh, wrong note too. 10, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 6. I just hit a 10 and then I hit an 8 and then I go back down. 10, da, 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 8, da, da, da. Da, da, da. Nothing bad's going to happen if you just hit one note out of there. I mean, you're going to turn it into your song, right? Like this is a framework, and then you do what you need to do. So the part I'm talking about is right here, where maybe you just hit the 10, which is the note G, and then you hit the 8, which is the note F. And then you head on down here and you play that one. You don't worry about doing any syncopated rhythm. Then you just play 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. There you go. All right, start it again and I'll be slower. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 3, 1, 3, 1, next line. 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Get ready to go up to the 8th fret. Here we go. 8, 6, right on. 8, 6, 8, 6, ready. Next line. 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, boom. Okay, up we go to 10th fret. 8, 10, 8, 8, 6, 8, ready. Here we go down to open position there. 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, boom. 0, 4, 3, and again. Ready, go. Down, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Next line. 3, 3, 1. Right on. 3, 1, 3, 1. Oh, that's cool, you guys. 8, 6, 8, 6, 8, 6. Back down. Nice. 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Ready? Up to that 10th fret. 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 6, 8. Back down. 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. Da, da, da. You guys! That's awesome! Yeah! All right. So you guys look pretty chilled out there doing that. That's really cool. So let's flip it around so that you guys play chords for me. And all I'm doing is just strumming down with my thumb. And when you hear like, here it's kind of short sounding, I'm just immediately, I'll show you what I'm doing rather than just doing a big description here. All I'm doing for the open chords there, I'm just strumming down with my thumb and then just laying my hand down, like as chill as I can get. After all the fancy strumming I do, and I'm just like blah, blah. It's so it has kind of an old jazzy kind of, like that sort of thing. That's why I'm doing that. You don't have to. That's just showing you what I was doing. Okay, that's it. Okay, here we go. Let's get back into this. Okay, so you guys are going to be my chord players, and I will play the melody. Or you play the melody too, whatever works for you, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, get ready for the next chord. Here we go on the F7. Back to C7. 1, 2, and 3. G7. F7. C7. And use the A and A flat as above and use G. So just remember it's a G shape there instead of the G7 shape. That's the only thing. So if you're like, wow, my gosh, okay, she crossed those out, what the heck? Go look up at the top. And you can see I've got the A and A flat there. So rather than the G7 shape, just move with the A. I'm just saying that so that you guys remember that I got rid of that and I was going to block it all out, turn it all into a big black blob, and then it just didn't work out quite that way. So now when we're doing this, when you're playing chords along with this, I'm going to come at it from the G7 to F7 down to C7, and I'm going to not do the fancy ending. Okay, so I've got my G7, 1, 2, 3, 4 to F7, C7, and I'm just going to do G7 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, back to the beginning. Yeah, so you can do that, and that's not a big deal. Let's keep going. 2 more bars of C7, 2, 3, 4, last one, and F7. Back to C7. And G7, here we go. 2, 3, F7, right on. C7. And do the G7 again, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that works out, right? Now, take a look at the last chord I have written there. C7 with an asterisk. Well, that's because it's like a C chord, and then I put the 7th sound on the 4th string. So it looks like super double gap 2 snake fangs. The numbers are 3003. Oh yeah, try it out. I'm gonna stop sharing and you can look at my hands, okay? Okay, so here's the kind of standard C7 shape, right? And here's the standard C shape. And here's one of the C7s I like to play. Because this note here, that's a B flat. That's what gives a C7 its nice sound. You can find a B flat right here. So in terms of frets, it's 3, and then open, open, 3. Just a different way of playing. So you can decide if you like that, you know, add it into your playing. Here's something I like to do to move from outside of the song, from a C to a C7 to an F, like maybe with You Are My Sunshine. So you're sitting there. Shirley's digging it. Yeah, you're leading from one chord to another using your 4th string. Just gives it a different sound, right? So again, I had my C chord. And then I go to this other C7, down to F. And that's what I'm doing there, is I'm inverting my chords. So just changing the order of notes a little bit around to give it a slightly different sound. And I really, you know, I do that a lot. I'll just sit around and play, read my fretboard chart. Well, I know all the notes, but you know, if you don't, look at your fretboard chart and say, oh, okay, the C7 chord, what's that got in there? Oh, okay, so G, C, E, and B flat. Well, where else can I find that B flat? How else can I make a sound like this, right? And that's when I was like, oh, I like that, right? So that's why I put that at the end and have the asterisk, because although it's called C7, it's just a slightly different way. It's all about having that note on the top. You guys notice that? Every time I, like my fancy A minor has that note on top. My fancy F has that note on top. And my fancy C7 has that note on top. I guess I love anchor fingers too, right? I think it's a lot of fun. Now, we're doing pretty good here, I think. I want to test you guys. It's time for a test. Okay, play your... Oh, look at Finn. He collapsed at the thought, didn't he? Yeah. All right. Play me your C7 chord. Okay, good. Play me your G7. Good. And now your F7. Right on. So that whole time, you can just hang on to that index finger, right? Just pivot with it. So when you're doing this song, getting the feel of the 12-bar blues using all 7th chords, watch your fingers, see how they move from one chord shape to another, and use that index finger as an anchor. Now, play your new A. Like a creep in the camera. Play me your new A. Yeah. Now your A flat. Yeah. Now your G. Okay, so that's a lovely, delicious chromatic movement. That's what that is. Yeah. So when you're playing the melody of this, I would really encourage you just to hop right into the chords for that. I think that would be super fun. Now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you how you can level it up a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to play through the melody just as it's written, and then I'm going to start adding some stuff. Some of it will be bars, but I'm not going to do that right away. Okay, so this is again without the beginning chords. We'll tuck those in. I'm not going to worry about them too much. Right, so just sitting there. Slides, man. Zippy little slides. Yeah. So instead of playing open there, look at me wag my finger. Instead of playing open, instead of going 0-4-3, I went 5-4-3, just like where my ring finger sits for doing those chords. Ba, 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 da, da, da. That's why just playing the chords in that position works out. Now check this out. I'm just strumming everything now. But it doesn't work up here, right? So then in order to do that, if you want to strum everything, if you're like, oh yeah, I'm digging it. What I do, that open C is beautiful for doing that, right? Like the C, I just strum whatever the notes are and strum everything around it. Just keep everything down, strum like crazy. But in order to do that with your F and your G position, that's where you need to do some bars. That's where, if you do decide, you're like, oh, I just want to strum everything, then what you want to do the F position, you're going to bar across your 5th fret. And then that means instead of using your ring finger on the 8th fret, you're probably going to use your pinky. But it's the same idea that you did with the C, so then you can just strum everything. What I usually do, you'll see me do like a big fat strum, and then something little on the next beat, so it helps me keep my rhythm. Oopsie. And what I'm doing there is the 2 beats where you can like tap tap or get ready for the next part. That's where I often just throw in a little tiny boop boop like that to help me keep my timing. So again with that F. Back down I go. And look at my other row. So, like, yeah! When you're doing that, adding in the bar chords, that takes a bit more practice, right? It's easy to tuck in everything down here. I've added in all sorts of stuff now. I've taken it into this strummy chord melody thing. And if I break it down to what I'm doing, here's my melody. What I'm doing is I'm strumming, and I'm picking that first string a little bit harder. So you could just play the melody. Let me show this. Right here, you might want to start off with strum, strum, and then pick the melody here, the 3-1-3-1, 3-1-3-1, strum, strum. Just try it out a little bit, okay? Well, what we'll do is where there's half notes, like that, and that's where we'll strum. Where we've got the busier notes here, we'll just pick that with an optional strum on the 2 beats that follow. So you can decide if you want to do that. Here, I think we could do strumming there. So ultimately what you're doing is you're moving, if you want to analyze it all, you're moving from playing a C chord, C chord, C7, C7. That's what you're doing there. Okay. So I'm going to go back up to the top here, and I'm going to do a big strum on that with the C chord, and I'm going to do a little boop with my thumb on just my bass strings to help me keep my rhythm, help me keep my flow. Here we go. 1, 2, nice and slow. Strum, boop, C7, strum, boop. Play the notes. 3, 1, 3, 1. 2 little strums, strum, strum. Next line, big strum on the C with that 3rd fret. Now we're going to the 1st fret. Now we play the melody. 3, 1, 3, 1. And those strings that you strum here, they're just all open strings, right? Strings 3 and 4, boop, boop. And as you're doing those, move yourself up to your 5th fret. Try barring across your 5th fret now. See how that goes. Okay. And then what you do, you've barred across your 5th fret. Now you're going to put your pinky on your 8th fret. And you're going to strum. And then you're going to strum with your middle finger on your 6th fret. Barb, you got it. Yeah. Middle finger on your 6th fret. Yep. And now just sit and play the notes as you have them there. That 8, 6, 8, 6. And a little strum on that 5th fret bar that you got. Boop, boop. Yeah. Let's go back down to your C chord right here. This is the easier stuff. Here we go. On the C chord, strum that 3rd fret. 3, 3. Now to 1st fret. 1, 1. Right on. 3, 1, 3, 1. Little boops on the strums, just the open strings. Now you're going to bar across your 7th fret. right in this section here. That's where you need to bar across your 7th fret. And pinky goes on your 10th fret, or maybe your ring finger. I can't stretch my hand that far though. And you can just do a little strum there. Go strum, 10, 8, 10. So you just get the feel of that G chord just on the first beat. Yeah, strum, pick your notes. And then bar again on your 5th fret. And do a strum, or sorry, 8, 8, 6, 8. So ultimately, when you're doing these, just strum on the first note so you're not stressing too much about it, right? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to do the G part there, and I'm going to bar on my 7th fret. Okay, and I'm going to have my pinky on my 10th fret. Yeah, right there. Here we go. Strum, and then I'm just going to pick 10, 8, 10. Then I'm going to move down to my 5th fret, and I'm going to strum on that first one with that 8th fret there. Then I'm just going to pick the other 3 notes. 8, 8, 6, 8. Then I'm going to move. Here we go. 1, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. A flat, G, or 0, 4, 3. Whatever works for you. Yeah, right on. So if you say, okay, well, why do I have to bar on the 5th fret and the 7th fret? What's the reasoning behind that? That's because it's all based on the C and C7 chord shape. When you strum your C, you've got open, 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 3rd fret. I'll stop sharing this so that we can kind of reason this through. Okay, so open, 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 3rd fret. If you want to do a bar chord, you have to take into account that these are open. Therefore, this is kind of an ugly little bar chord, but C sharp, that becomes your new open strings. Okay, so you still need to have that gap of the 2 frets in between, just like you had here, the 2 frets. That's why when you go up and you're going to do your F chord, and you've got your pinky on your 8th fret, that's why you need to bar on your 5th fret, even though the melody notes you're playing are 8 and 6, because you might be like, well, I can bar on the 6th fret. Well, actually, that sounds kind of cool, but don't do that. Bar on your 5th fret. So you can approach this. Now all that stuff there where I turned it into chord melody, I'm going to plant my butt down here and write all that up for you, like notate it so that you've got that done properly. In the end, what you've got right now is a little package of the blues scale moving from 3 different positions, a C blues to F to G, and the 7th chords that go along with that. The ultimate goal for this is to have your index finger working as an anchor, as a guide between those 3 main chords. You've got the movable G chord so that you can get some more colors. Okay? And then you've got the blues scale as written right now. It's just 4 notes you're playing. Not even that, it's just 3, just 3 notes. And the whole thing there is you just hang on. You can just mess around with those 3 notes. Whatever you do is going to sound fine. Up here, it's easier to bend. And so I'm looking at the F one right now, the 8 and the 6. It's easier because you can have these fingers down, right? Help you out. And then you do that stank facing, right? But you can have a lot of fun with it as written. Or if you say to yourself, well, I want to add in some chords, like I demonstrated, that's how you can huck in as many chords as you want. But let's take a look. I've got these notes, the full chord shapes, or scales that I'd written out, and that's part of the package. Okay. So here we are. Now we're looking at all the scale stuff. The C blues F blues and G blues, what I've done is I've divided it, okay? Those 4 notes for C blues right there, you can just play those 4 notes and everything will sound tickety-boo for soloing. Doesn't have to be everything. It can just be 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. 4 notes can get you really far. So this is where if you feel like you don't want to add in chords, you want someone to sit behind you, give you a rhythm section, well, you play around and have a ball. That's just those first 3 notes. Just like right out of the melody, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1. All I did was I tucked in an extra note. So let's do just a little bit of scale work here. And we're going to play that C blues, but we're just going to do those 4 notes. That's it. You can do more if you want. You don't need to. Let's just do 3, 1, next string, 3, 1. Let's do it again. Ready? 3, 1, 3, 1. Okay. Do that again. And I'm just going to sit here on the C7. I'm your metronome. Just play around with those 4 notes. Do whatever you want with them. Maybe you slide to some of them. Maybe you bend them. Maybe you do repeated notes. You're like 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 3, 3, whatever. Yeah, you can do a lot with just those 4 notes. If you give yourself just a few notes to play with, you can have a lot of fun finding different little bits of melodies. Give yourself a short leash and play around with what you got. Add more as you feel like it, but you can do a lot with just those 4 notes. Okay, now let's go check out the F blues one here. 8, 6, 8. All I did was add in an extra 6th fret. That's it, right? You're making rectangles. This is the know your shapes part of the lesson. Just rectangles. 8, 6, 8, 6. Try that with me. 8, 6. Now on the next string. 8, 6. Good. Do it again. Ready? 8. Nice. 6, 8, 6. Yeah. I'm just playing around. Let me show you something that I like to do. I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute here. Okay, so you got your rectangle shape. I like to make an X. See that? Where I'm just going back and forth? You've got 4 notes. There's lots of options for just goofing around with them. That was just 2 notes. I just repeated them. I just leaned in hard. It's bluesy stuff. It doesn't have to be like crazy killer stuff. It can be, but this is not that. Last scale pattern is your G blues, and that's frets 10, 8, 10, 8. Yeah. Let's say you're playing a song that's not Sunday Slowdown. Maybe, I don't know what it is. It's jambalaya, which you guys might use the chords C and G. Oh, I bet you could sit there and where it's got the G pattern or the G chord, you can mess around with just those 4 notes or leave it at the 3. If you're bending, just remember to hang on with, because these strings are kind of rolly, right? Like it's hard to get a grip on them sometimes. So when I bend, I push up from underneath a little bit. Let's see if I can. Oops. Have a couple fingers there, and sometimes I don't just go straight on. It's easy for me to lose my grip, so I push up a little bit. Use all my fingers. that can really help. This blue nail polish really stands out well on this camera. I like it. There was a place, I was going to Revelstoke, and there's this discount store in Salmon Arm. It was so full of nail polish, I was like, I'm in guitar playing heaven. So I bought a lot of nail polish and I just like layered it on really thick. It was really nice. So this Sunday Slowdown, it's the thing that I would love for you guys to do is to take, let's see. So you've got the basic melody here, right? Add in what you want. Maybe you want to play around with it. Like you've got this melody, but you're like, okay, I'm going to write my own to play, because the whole thing is to play it and play around with it, right? So think of it as a coloring sheet. Write in maybe some different rhythms you want to try, with the same notes. You don't have to, you know, you don't need to change it a lot, but just come up with maybe some different things. Like right down here, where it says 3, 3, 1, 1, maybe you go 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, right? Just a little change can be really kind of neat. So let's see. So all I did was down here. So I went 3, 3, 3, 3, 1, 1, 1, 1. So that there's a rhythmic difference between this first time through with the 3, 3, 1, 1 and the second time. That's all. So I'll carry on from there. Just little bits, little bits. Doesn't have to be anything really crazy. Okay. Now, we got to look at those chords at the beginning. I know we're a little bit over time, but I'm going to show you guys how easy the beginning part is. You know that new fancy A chord. You hang on to it for 2 beats. That new fancy A7, 2 beats. C6, just play your open strings. Oh my good golly, you know this chord right here from Crazy G. The 0101 chord. I think it was called, it had a different name in that one. But this part here sounds like this. You got your A flat, and then you approach it from the other way. And you're just coming up to it. So it's open. I'll show you with my hands. Okay. So it looks kind of sketchy, but it's actually puff. Okay, I stop sharing. Here we go. So I've got my A flat. See how I use these fingers here to do the 0101? That's because I'm moving to a G7. So I've got A flat, C6, all the opens, and a G, I called it a G flat 7, and I didn't play my 4th string. Going to a G7. So I flatten, there's your G7. If you flatten it, first finger slides right off the fretboard, right? G7, G flat 7. So A flat, da da da. This can be as busy as you want it or as simple as you want it. Like with most of the stuff I do, you can decide where you want to take it. The most straightforward way to play it is to not worry too much about the fancy intro, although it's fun to play with chords you already know. That's the same rhythm as the, hear that? So it's, oh boy, here we go. You can just sit and play the chords, right? You can just practice that. Play around with different rhythms. You can record yourself playing the chords and play along to that. Because I think everybody's either got a smartphone or an iPad or something where you can record yourself. Count yourself in. So you go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Play your chords and then play your melody on top of it. Play your chords a few times so that you get comfortable and you give yourself plenty of track to play along with. It's a fun thing to do. Then if you feel fancy, add in some strums to your melody. Do you need to do it? No. Do you need to play the melody exactly the way it's written? Clearly not. You can do what you want with it. You can sit on 3 notes. That's all I've done for the melody. You can add in a 4th. If you feel really like jazzed up, play the whole blues scale, but you don't have to. The whole idea is to just have fun. So that's that.
Tina, I want to share something that I discovered last year when I was teaching the blues to our level 2 class.
Yeah.
I stumbled upon somebody playing blues and he was wailing away on 1 string.
Mm-hmm.
So I played it for them. I said, if you get lost, just find 1 string and go for it. Absolutely. And then you can catch up again. And I thought, wow, mm-hmm. It was wonderful because the band was playing behind him. It was I don't know who it was. It was a group, Anyway, I thought that is so cool. Anyway, thank you.
That's awesome.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
You can do a lot with just 1 string.
Yep.
It's not about playing a bunch of different notes either, right? Like you can just go nuts with just a few notes. It's about adding in things like slides and hammer-ons and repeated notes, right? Just having a good time with that. That's so cool. Okay, so I'm going to sit here. I'll write this out as a chord melody too, with just some of the ideas that I had here. And yeah, I hope that you guys have got the C7, F7, G7, that idea about moving from those chords, got that memorized, right? Thinking about the index finger hopping around. And Kat, I hope with the group that you lead, maybe you can toss some of this in there with them. Who knows, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sounds fun.
Yeah, right? It can be just a good time. And then you find different songs that you can add little bits of this to, right? Like jambalaya, anything that's kind of bluesy or country or rocky, whatever. Yeah, just good times. Oh, Pat, or Barb, I see you anchoring your index finger, moving from chord to chord. Yep, good. That's excellent. All right, I'm going to stop recording this now, but you guys did a great job, and I was able to watch you like a hawk, too. It was great.